The river churns with life and threat, a living broth of mud, muscle, and muscle memory. Into this boiling current, a mother hippo enters, her calf pressed tightly against her side like a shadow stitched to her flank. Their target is the far bank, where a shallow, sun-warmed nursery pool waits a cradle carved by time and instinct. But between here and there lies a gauntlet of crocodiles. Dozens of ridgebacks and glinting eyes break the surface in quiet menace, still as stones yet bristling with latent power. Adult hippos rarely face attack. Their sheer bulk and sudden violence command caution. But a calf is different. Smaller lungs, slower turns, thinner skin. Every croc in this bend can read that fragility like a ripple on the surface. The mother doesn't hesitate. This is the path her kind has taken for generations. Habit grips her hooves like roots in the mud. And so, with breath low and muscles coiled, she pushes forward into the oldest kind of gamble, a crossing where love and survival are inseparable. She moves with deliberate weight, her massive shoulders parting the crocodiles like a gate in flood. Flanks brush jaws, yet the predators yield, sensing not submission but unstoppable force. Her body carves a channel through the mass-tight, tense, rippling with muscle. The calf surfaces often, brushing her side, snatching breaths from the narrow air before tucking again beneath her belly. Crocodiles track each rise, each tiny delay. One tests the edge with a slow lean. Another eyes the widening space. But she never lets it happen. Her head sweeps in sudden arcs, snapping the water, sending ripples of warning. Still they hover, waiting not for courage, but for certainty. She offers none. The calf hugs closer, skin to skin, learning that safety means not looking forward, but holding to the mother's shape. Behind them, the water folds, silent again. But ahead, more ridges form. Crocs know the patterns and how they end, so they test again. Ripples spread like whispers, and the river calls in more. Crocodiles arrive from deeper channels, drawn by the churned mud and the faint distress of a calf's unpracticed breath. They emerge in slow spirals, silent but certain, their snouts slicing water as their eyes lock on movement. The mother knows she is surrounded. She lifts her head high and opens her jaws in a threat gate, a primal signal etched by evolution. Tusks gleam like carved ivory, and a bellow rolls across the bend. But still they close. The current deepens near midstream, and there the rules shift. Crocodiles no longer lunge but slide, aiming not for flesh but for position, seeking to widen the fragile corridor between mother and child. Sometimes the calf climbs the slope of her back for a heartbeat of height. A little lift buys time. A little time, distance. But the gap is growing, and predators know it. They no longer wait. They probe. The mother senses the shift before it happens, the slow circling replaced by movement with purpose. Crocodiles begin to weave through the current, sliding closer from both sides, shaping the water into a trap. She answers not with retreat, but with fury. Her head drives forward like a hammer, churning silt and foam. The river explodes in sound, splashes, low grunts, the scrape of teeth against hide. The calf clings close, pressing against her flank so tightly it almost disappears beneath the folds of her skin. Crocodiles lunge, then fall back, testing her reach. Their yellow eyes glint in brief flashes through the brown water, each one calculating distance. She bellows again, deep, resonant, ancient. The sound carries across reeds and ripples, a mother's warning and a challenge all at once. But the river answers with silence. The predators are not gone, they are waiting, patient as time, for the next mistake. Then the mistake comes not from her, but from the river itself. A swell, a shift, a slippery foothold lost. In an instant, one crocodile lunges low and fast. Water explodes into a frothy boil as the calf vanishes beneath the churn. The mother spins with terrifying speed, jaws wide, muscles tense. She catches the attacker mid-snout and lifts it clean from the water, flinging it sideways in a spray of mud and foam. The sound is sickening, a crack of bone, a splash of weight, but more are already moving. Another croc surges toward her blind side. Her massive body turns, sending a wall of water crashing across the ranks. She is fury made flesh. The calf surfaces, coughing, eyes wide, gasping, but the calm doesn't last. Another set of jaws closes fast around its leg. A clamp, a jerk. The river tastes blood. The calf cries out, a thin, raw sound swallowed quickly by the roar of the river. Its front leg is pinned in a crocodile's vise, the grip unforgiving. But the mother moves as one solid surge, her entire mass driving forward in a single, explosive heave. She crashes into the attacker, jaws locking behind its head where the armor thins, where bone is closer to nerve. She bites down with ancient force. Pressure builds, skin splits. The crocodile thrashes, then yields just for a breath. It lets go. The calf tumbles free, flailing, barely afloat. Around them, the water ripples with new arrivals, drawn by the sound, the motion, and the scent. The predators adjust. They've tasted weakness. The pattern now is clear. Divide and strike. The mother positions herself broadside, blocking again, but she cannot cover every angle. The river tightens, the circle reforms, and the game resets. The crocodiles adapt with ruthless precision. They press the same tactics: separate, surround, subdue. In the tight water, the mother's size becomes both shield and shackle. She turns slower now, her strikes wider, leaving flickers of space. That's all the river needs. For a moment, the calf loses touch, just a heartbeat of distance. It's enough. Jaws snap shut on tender flank. Another clamps the rear. The river convulses into chaos. Violent jolts ripple through the current as Crocodile seize soft parts first, the quickest way to still a struggling body and avoid the fury of the mother's charge. She thrashes, bellows, drives forward with skull and tusk, but teeth are already set. The water explodes with mud, blood, and motion. Here, power protects only as long as contact remains. The margin fails in seconds. What she guards is more than a calf, it is the last breath of closeness. The river offers no justice, only rhythm, and the lesson it carves in every current is this: survival depends on staying close. Hippo calves are born into water but raised in the shadow of their mothers. From the first hour, they are nudged gently into the shallows, guided by flanks and murmurs, taught to breathe between gulps of milk beneath the surface. With nostrils sealed and eyes barely open, they learn the river by touch, not sight. When danger nears, the mother turns broadside to block, yawns wide to threaten, and rams if words fail. Every moment is choreography. The calf rides her back when depth rises, nuzzles her side when current swells. Her body becomes not just protection, but map, compass, and anchor. In these dark waters, closeness is more than comfort. It is the only path to breath, to life, and to tomorrow. Beyond the struggle of mother and calf lies a larger world ruled by ritual and force. Adult hippos shape their society not through speed, but presence, massive bodies anchored in deep bends and wide pools. Bulls mark territory with spinning tails, flinging dung across water and bank in scent-drenched signatures. Power is broadcast through posture, a wide yawn, tusks bared like daggers, eyes locked, canines sharpened with use, grinding into ivory blades capable of puncturing thick hide. Most conflicts end before blood spills: a sideways lunge, a long gape, a threat unspoken but clear. But when drought shrinks water or mating rights are challenged, warning gives way to war. Heads slam, jaws lock, and tons of muscle twist through the current. The surface froths with violence. And when it stills, scars remain, maps of past battles carved in flesh. Reminders that dominance here is written in bruises. When dominance is questioned, the river becomes an arena. Bulls collide with sudden ferocious power, each strike an explosion of mass and rage. Jaws clamp onto flanks, skulls crash, water erupts. Around them, smaller males retreat to margins, cows shepherd calves to safety. But even females fight when the rules are broken, when a stranger strays too close, or a calf wanders into the orbit of a dominant male. Strength here is not speed but leverage. The ability to throw weight, to absorb impact, to endure. A victory today is paid for in torn flesh and aching joints. And defeat means exile. A beaten bull must leave the pool, seeking refuge in shallow backwaters where crocodiles wait and where the land, hard and hot, offers no comfort. There, every step is risk. But the order that returns after the clash is swift and unquestioned. Power restores peace until the next challenge rises. As the sun climbs, the river begins to vanish. Heat thickens the air, and the hippos sink deeper. Eyes, ears, and nostrils, the only clues to their massive forms below. Their skin, surprisingly thin for such bulk, dries quickly and cracks under sunlight. A red secretion beads along their backs, a natural sunscreen, an antiseptic, glistening like blood but serving only survival. The pool crowds fast. Elephants wade in with thunderous presence, displacing hippos by sheer force of size. They drink, splash, and carve new channels with their bodies. Hippos grumble, shuffle sideways, but yield. Better to slide than take tusks to the face. Then come the buffalo, a surge of muscle that floods the shallows. Each entrance forces a shift. Each shift raises tension. On the banks, some begin to bake. The longer they stay out, the louder the instinct becomes, get back to water, even if crocodiles wait at the edge. On land, threat changes form. Lions lurk in the tall grasses, especially near dusk, when injured bulls or isolated cows make easy targets. But hippos carry the answer in their mass. The key is depth, just a few strides into the channel, and everything shifts. A lion's power relies on ground, traction, ambush. In water, claws lose purchase, footing vanishes, and strength turns to splash. The hippo dives, nostrils sealing, body gliding in slow underwater bounds. When lions test the margin, the response is immediate. A swell, a surge, then a charge. Head low, water foaming, wake trailing like a storm. The message is unmistakable: this is not your domain. Predators hesitate at the edge, watching the surface, knowing that below lies momentum without mercy. In depth, the law belongs to hippos. They do not chase, they drive. And every intruder learns hold the shore or be forced from it. Beneath the surface, hippos reclaim their power. They move like armored submarines, slow yet deliberate, nostrils sealed, ears folded, gliding through the dark. Each step across the riverbed is silent, every breath calculated. They can vanish completely, then rise without warning, only eyes and nose breaking the line. When intruders stray too far into their space, the response is immediate and uncompromising. The water lifts in a sudden bulge, and a wall of muscle bursts forward. The charge is raw force, a collision of mass and momentum. There's no warning growl, no subtle display, just a message delivered in the weight of flesh and water. This belongs to us. Any predator that stands chest deep learns fast here. Leverage vanishes, power shifts, and the river becomes a boundary, not a refuge. In this fluid domain, the hippos set the rules, the routes, and the reckoning. When the sky withholds rain, the river shrinks into fragments, pools no deeper than a hoof print, strung like fading beads along a dying thread. Side channels vanish, their memory cracked into clay. In these shrinking bowls of water, hippos crowd by the hundreds, pressed nose to tail in black mud. Breathing becomes a shared ritual. One rises for air, sinks to make room for another. Skin, once cooled by flow, now cracks and peels. The red secretion glosses their backs but cannot heal the heat. Flies swarm, wounds fester, and in the corners, eyes cloud with infection born in stagnant pools. Mothers with calves cling to the edges, ready to retreat at the first sign of movement. But space is scarce, and the sun is ruthless. The walk to pasture grows longer, the return more costly. Along this gauntlet, some fall, and the vultures gather before the rain returns. Yet even in collapse, the herd holds. Dry season binds them in hardship, pressing instinct and tradition into tighter shapes. Each lost pool, each fallen calf, rewrites the boundaries of survival. One bend becomes a battlefield, one cracked mud path a funeral march. But the first rain is always a promise. It drums softly at first, then swells into song. The river rises not in a rush, but in pulses. Pools reconnect, channels breathe, and the hippos rise with it, slick with new mud and old memory. Step by heavy step, they reset the map, returning to ancestral crossings, to banks where calves can breathe, to deep bends where power lives. The crocodiles, the lions, the drought all remain. But so does the herd. And each mother knows the river never forgets the cost of distance. She carries her calf forward, into water that remembers, into a current that always asks the same question.